Hi, I will show you a demo of Mediforce, platform for defining workflows where AI agents can collaborate with humans in fully auditable way, so you can use these workflows for business critical processes. When you open Mediforce, you can select one of your workspaces. You can go to your private workspace or one of your team workspaces. So let's go there, and for the demo purposes, I will show you a workflow called Landing Zone CDisk Pilot, which implements a process of sending clinical study data from the CRO to the sponsor who wants to validate this data. Before I show you how this workflow is implemented on Mediforce, I will show you this diagram for the context. So the process is that CRO uploads the clinical study data files to the SFTP server. When sponsor receives them, they run validation to check its correctness and completeness, and if everything is fine with the data, sponsor accepts it and uses it. But if there are issues, they list all of them in the report, send them back to the CRO and request for improvements. Of course, this is a simplification of the process, and in real scenario, this process is more complex, but for the demo, we use this as a base for our workflow. So let's go to the visual editor and I will show you how it looks. Okay, so I'm going to definitions and I am opening Visual Workflow Editor. On the left side, you can see visualization of our workflow, and on the right side, you can see YAML code that implements all steps of our workflow. The first step of this workflow is to poll SFTP server to check if we have any new files that needs validation. If we have no new files, the workflow completes. But if we have new files, we proceed to the validation steps. The first validation step is a deterministic script that runs CDisk rules, and the next step is also deterministic script, but here we validate using custom rules written in R, for example, using package point blank. And after we run those steps, we have our first step using AI agent. And this AI agent classifies the outcome of previous steps and tells us if we actually can tell that the validated files are clean, we have some minor fixes required. We can work with these files after we recover some of the values, but we need to ask CRO for improvements. We need to escalate issues, or uploaded files are a complete chaos. And this classification is sent to human, and human decides whether we can actually approve the files and we can accept the delivery, or we need an improvement from the CRO and we proceed to the step of drafting a rejection note where another AI agent drafts an issue report and an email that will be sent to the CRO. Then we proceed to the step of sending this email, and after that we have a very interesting part of this workflow where another AI agent proposes new validation rules to our workflow based on the findings from the previous steps. So take a look what happens here. An AI agent proposes new validation rules that should be included in our deterministic scripts, sends them to human for approval, and after human approves them, we proceed to the step where Mediforce opens a pull request in GitHub in the repository. When we keep our validation rules, we can go to GitHub, review those rules, merge them with our code, and after this operation, we will use these new rules in our new workflow runs. So this is pretty exciting feature because with every run, your workflow naturally learns over time and includes more validation rules after we see more data. So this is pretty neat. Okay, so now let's run this workflow and see how it validates the data. As you can see here, this workflow runs automatically every 15 minutes and it polls SFTP server to check if we have any new data files, but I will trigger this manually. Before I start run, I see that there is an icon here that tells me that I have some missing secret. So I will configure this before I start running the workflow. So I'm going to secrets, open router API key. I'm adding this here. I'm saving this secret. I'm going back to runs. Maybe before I run, I will show you one of the previous runs here. It polled SFTP server. There were 0 new data files. So that's why this workflow immediately finished. But now I added new data files manually on SFTP server. So when I start run, I expect that it will show that it goes to validation. So it's polling SFTP. It found new data file and it runs CD scrolls. So here we see live log from the script. In the audit log, we see all steps that happened during the workflow execution. So now let's wait and see what happens after this data file is validated. It completed CD scrolls validation, and now we proceeded to custom R rules. It went pretty quick. And now AI agent will interpret our validation steps. Okay, so AI agent completed its classification, and now we can go to the human review and see the validation report and the recommendation from AI agent. So I am opening a task that is assigned to me. And now I want to see the validation report. So I'm opening the output of the previous step, and I can see that there is a single domain critical structure issue, recoverable. I see some findings details here. And after I familiarize myself with the output of this report, I can approve it. So approve the data that came from the CRO or ask for revision. So I'm sending a note to the next step of the workflow. So please fix all issues listed in this report. All right, so my revision has been submitted, and now we can proceed to the draft rejection note step. And here AI agent will start preparing our message to the CRO. Now we are proceeding to the interesting part that AI agent will propose new validation rules. So let's see what it will find and what it will propose. All right, it's completed. And now it's an action on me, so I need to manually review what they proposed. So here we can see a summary. So this is a proposed pull request that can be sent. It proposes custom rules. I'm reviewing them. And I am approving them. Let's create a pull request with those new rules. Now we have the last step of our workflow, opening new pull request. I'm going into its details. I can see there is a new pull request opened. Let's open our GitHub. This is our dedicated repository with our rules. The workflow proposed updating the rules. And after reviewing them, we can merge them and update our rules set. Also, to complete the demo, I will show you what kind of email has been sent to me from mediforce by AI agent to me as a CRO. So I configured my email in this workflow, and mediforce sent me an email drafted by AI agent, what I need to improve in my data files when I send them next time to SFTP server. Please let us know if you have any questions or requests what we can implement in mediforce. Just let us know and we will be happy to meet you on a call and show you live demo of mediforce.